listening to the Becoming More Me podcast with me, Theresa Lear Levine. You're already enough. But if you're anything like me, you thrive when you're stretching and developing yourself, creating more of the person you feel called to be. This podcast is here to inspire and support you. Let's release the negative, reinforce the positive, and elevate our vibe together as we tap into our limitless potential to transform and grow.
Hello. Oh, I've got some exciting stuff to go over with you today. And such a funny thing, but for the longest time, I didn't have, when I recorded, a timer going. And you can really tell from some of my earlier episodes, the variance in time. With ADHD, my concept of time can be very, very skewed. And I tell you what, now that I have the little timer on my screen and I can be like, oh, okay, so I'm like 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, what a difference that makes. Timers have been they help me stay on track throughout my day. And when I'm feeling like I'm not very focused, I often just set timers for 5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever it is, just so that I know that amount of time has passed and I can evaluate where I am, if I've gotten distracted, if I need to kind of get back to it. Another thing I do is just kind of repeat a mantra in my head about what I'm supposed to be doing, unless it's like I'm writing or doing something where I have to be thinking about other things. But if what I'm supposed to be doing is the dishes or the laundry or whatever, then I'm just kind of in my head going dishes, and making sure that I'm getting it done. Weird, but true. And absolutely non-related to what I am going to be talking to you about today. But that is how my brain works. So I honor it and I share it with you. So one of the things that led me to EFT and then got me to stay with it, and probably will have me doing it until I leave from this physical world, is the fact that it was super quick, the results last, and I could do it myself. As somebody who is really busy, not just with my own businesses, but with my family, and also somebody that wants to be able to enjoy the life I have built and am building for myself and my family, time is really important. And I've said it before, but in my darkest times, I did not feel like I had the time to seek out the right professional to help and guide me. And that was really, really painful, because it's like, the right thing's out there somewhere, but you don't have the time to find it. You don't know if you're going to align with, what's being offered, what the pricing looks like, what the time frame looks like. There's so many variables. And if you've never gone through this with looking for an EFT coach, an energy coach, a life coach, a results coach, you've probably gone through it when you've looked for somebody to help you in the health and medical field. And you really want to find that doctor or practitioner that you feel is really going to be the one to help you with whatever is going to arise in your health or whatever you're currently dealing with. And you can spend an awful lot of time on websites and the phone. And then maybe you think you find the perfect one, but there's a wait list or they're not accepting new patients. And then you're back to square one. It can very often be the same case when you're looking for somebody to help and coach you through the mental processes that you're looking to level up with. And so when I found EFT, even though there was a process to figure out how and where I wanted to learn that knowledge, I knew that I was then going to have those coping mechanisms myself that I could use when I couldn't be with a coach or a counselor or whatever it was that I needed at that time. And it's been key in my ability to work through issues as they come up and not play victim or act like I don't have the ability or the resources or anything else. So in those times when in the past, maybe I would have kind of shrunk or gone inward, I can remain expanded and realize what's possible and stay in that space so much easier. So when I work with people, I really like to make sure that they come away from our time together feeling like they know how to do things on their own too. But that doesn't mean that people don't want or need a coach to work with in a more one-on-one way. I know that the perspective I gain when I work with somebody is much different than the perspective I bring to something when I'm doing self-work. So, with that in mind, I wanted to give you some tips and pointers, some things to perhaps know before you start working with somebody, some things to consider so that you can really get the best results as you are investing your time, your energy, your money into yourself. Because personal development is a self investment. It's not a cost, it's not a price to pay. It is an investment in you. And like any investment that you make that you might be more familiar with, you want to be informed about what you're getting into. So that is what we're going to talk about today. So, first and foremost, I think it's really important to understand that not all practitioners are created, I don't want to say equal, I want the same. The training can be different. The background is different. We all bring to the table our own experiences, our own knowledge because of what we have been through, and our own way of delivering, helping, supporting those that we work with. And it can really, really run the gamut and be quite diverse. So obviously you want to search for someone who has, good training and experience, and don't discount people that haven't been doing their trade or their practice for a long time. I know that when I first started out, and even in more recent times, I find wonderful insights when I work with people that are just going through their training, just completing it. There's a zest for what they're doing, a newness, a curiosity. And sometimes you'll also get people that are willing to kind of spend more time with you on different issues because they're learning too. And it doesn't matter whether you're with someone who has been doing, EFT or whatever kind of therapy it is that you're seeking for decades or just months, everyone is still learning. Every case is different. And we all have things to learn from each other. So just, don't discount people that have been, sometimes people discount people that have been doing things for ages because they think that they're jaded or their habits are old or their techniques are, old fashioned or whatever. But just find somebody that jives with you. There are pros and cons to all different time frames of experience and all different levels of experience. So, depending on the training, you're going to get a different level of that. And each level of training is also going to require the practitioner to have been through different things, to have practiced a certain amount of hours, and so on and so forth. So you really want to make sure that in a world where so many different coaches have no certifications, that you're getting somebody that has a knowledge basis that is going to serve you. Okay. That doesn't mean that they need to have different accreditations or certifications if their experience, their knowledge, and what they bring to the table serves you. Okay. So, this is comes down to gut and intuition and instinct and so many things. Don't keep going down a road to something that doesn't feel right or doesn't feel like it's going to bring you the results that you're looking for. And it's really also very important to understand that the person that you choose, the practitioner, they're not the healer or the one that makes the results happen or the change. You are. Your body, the mind-body connection, the coming together of your different bodies, the emotional, the physical, the mental, and excuse me. The 4 bodies: emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual. Did I say them all? I feel like I missed one before and then I coughed. And anyway, the coming together of all those different components is what heals you. But the right practitioner can help really guide, expedite, and create deeper impact in that healing, that transformation, that transcendence, that moving up the emotional scale. That is what the practitioner can help with. They are not healing you. your body, or in this case, bodies, those 4 bodies are what are that's the healer. So that is to say, you already have this power within you. The right practitioner is going to help you harness it, reclaim it, use it, and make the best of it. Okay. And it's also really important to know whether the person that you are going to choose to work with. So, in my case, as an EFT practitioner, if you were looking for somebody to be an EFT coach, are they just going to use emotional freedom techniques, or are they going to combine it with other things? I've worked with people both ways, straight up EFT, and my personal preference is to combine EFT with other modalities that really bring out even more from it. In my opinion, that would be meditation and visualization. And I have a bunch of other complementary techniques that I like to throw into the mix when I work with people. But for me, I choose that based on what the person is looking for and what they want to get out of it, because I know what tends to get the best result with that. So just know what their sessions are going to look like. Ask those questions and realize that there's a ton of ways to get to the result that you want. Okay. So if you have an intended goal to work on your money blocks, your money mindset, your financial growth, then you have many ways that you can get there. So it's really important to understand that, because it's not like there's only one thing that's going to work for you, but you need to know what you feel is going to be the best fit for you also, because that is going to make a difference. Because even though with EFT, at least, belief doesn't matter, because you can get results even if you don't believe in the technique, because it's scientifically based and it's very logical. Your belief does help to support your work. So doing something that you believe and feel aligned with can definitely help to expedite and deepen your results. And because there's so many ways to get to the same result, it's really important to be clear with the person that you're going to be working with of what you're trying to work on the most. Because you might find that you're there and you're wanting to talk about those financial goals that you have and the things that you feel are getting in the way of them. And all of a sudden you're working on, your childhood or your marriage or something else. But if your practitioner is clear, they may very well be veering you in those directions because they know that they're directly related to the outcome that you want, even if it seems as if you've gone down a different path. So having that clarity and trusting the person that you're working with to keep you on path and to keep you working towards exactly what it is that you're trying to achieve is really important. And I'll say that for me, that's one of my favorite things, the accountability, the focus, and the stick-to-itiveness that I get when I work with someone is something that I have a hard time giving to myself. So I have many ways that I'm good at keeping myself accountable, but when I'm really working on something that's really sticky and gritty and difficult and challenging, having somebody to kind of like hold you to it and make sure that you're continuing to move in the direction of it instead of fearfully retreating, playing small, edging back, buffering, all of those things that we do because they've worked for us, they've kept us safe, and we don't know any better. That can be really huge. So again, different ways to get to the end result. And sometimes it's not going to look like you're still on that path, but you are, as long as you've been clear. And you can even ask, in a relationship that you have being coached by somebody, you should always be able to be like, hey, how is this related? Or is this coming back to what we're working on? Or, just can you put this together for me? Be your own advocate. It is so important because maybe your practitioner did get confused. Maybe they didn't understand you. Maybe they have a different idea. Might be good, might be something that you want to say, hey, that's cool, but can we Can we get back to working on this? Because that's really what I'm here for, spending my valuable time on and wanting the results with. And that can be helpful too. You should be able to speak to your practitioner and, have them help you in the ways that you want and need to be helped. But you also need to understand that if those ways don't look like what you expected them to, then keep with it. Keep with it. And understand too that if you're coming to a practitioner to solve a problem, you may not realize how complex it is, or you might realize how complex it is. In either case, EFT is quite literally the fastest way I have ever seen and know to get to the root of issues and to have them be resolved without coming back. But it still may take multiple sessions. And only the practitioner that you work with is going to know what that might look like. So be open to that, but also realize so many people have been carrying around the issues that they finally come to get worked on for years, decades, maybe even their entire life. So if it takes 6, 12, 20 sessions to fix it, if it takes a year, is that really so bad to resolve decades or a lifetime of an issue and not have to have it holding you back anymore? There's a lot of perspective to gain when you think about it. And if you're looking for an EFT practitioner, realize that this is a really cool practice in that it is just as effective, whether you are in person, on Zoom, on the phone, doesn't matter. So that makes it easy to expand your search. You can work with somebody anywhere in the world as long as they have hours and times and things that align with what you're looking for, and as long as they're open to that and they do that. So that really does expand the pool and the possibilities. And it's really cool that there's therapy like that can be that effective, because a lot of things aren't and require you to go to an appointment and be there in person and show up. And that means, travel time and commute time and all sorts of other things. Whereas, if you're a high performing, high achieving person that's looking for results and change in your life, you really want to be able to just, dial in for that, 45 minutes, hour and a half, whatever your session time looks like, and get the work done and then get back to your life. And if you were doing a 90-minute session out of wherever you live and you had to drive there, let's just be kind and say it's a half an hour, you're adding an extra hour. And then, you might also need to get dressed a little better if you're leaving the house, or dress differently, depending on where you're coming from or going to. You're adding at least an hour and a half on top of your hour and a half. And then all of a sudden that's a 3-hour chunk for a session. Whereas if you can just, hop on Zoom or the phone and do it, there's really nothing other than the session time that you need to worry about. So if time is really valuable to you, keep that in mind with who you choose to work with and how they deliver the sessions. And let's see, what else do I want to make sure that you know? Oh gosh, definitely make sure that before you work with somebody, you get on the phone or get in front of them and talk with them. Okay. Request a free consultation before you commit to a bunch of sessions or a program or whatever it is that your practitioner of choice offers, because there's nothing like having that back and forth, hearing the way that they respond to you, hearing the type of delivery they have and the type of questions they ask, and understanding, hey, is this somebody that I want to be spending a few hours a month with, or whatever it might be? Is this what I'm looking for in my life and what I need right now? And again, intuition, gut, feel into it. Feel if they feel like they are the right connection for you, because you don't want to commit to something and then feel like, oh, this is not a good match. He or she does not get me. And I am not getting the results and I feel like I'm wasting my time. That is the worst feeling you can possibly have. And then, if you're like me, you feel like, oh, I've committed, I've got to see it through, but you feel like you're throwing away your most valuable asset, which is your time. And when it comes to thinking about cost, you got to think about that time, because you may be able to find practitioners that are, more or less expensive than each other, but what are they able to deliver in what period of time? Because I don't know about you, I'd pay a heck of a lot more to get a lot done in a little bit of a time than paying less to spend all sorts of time trying to get to the same endpoint. So just weigh all of those things as you are interviewing and perhaps applying to work with different practitioners or coaches or therapists that can help you with the things that you're trying to level up in your life. And if you are interested in applying to work with me, then I would love to hear from you. And I would definitely hop on a call with you and help you to see if we would be a good fit, And if you want to do that, then just check out the link that is in the show notes, and you can set up a call, and I will look forward to talking with you. And, set up calls with other people too, and see who it is that aligns with what it is that you want and need in your life right now to take things to the next level, to heal, to forgive, to grow, whatever it is that your personal goal is. I am sure there is somebody out there that can serve you so very well. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening. If you loved this episode, please share it with a friend or post on social media and tag me so I can personally connect and thank you. Until next time, keep taking bold and brave action steps towards becoming more of who you want to be in this world. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are enough. Keep shining your light.